Today, the state television company Western Armenia represents the most important news for today's broadcast. Parliamentary session. In order to return Artsakh and Western Armenia, we must keep our memory in dream. The Artsakh issue at the conference of San Remo. The use of force disrupts negotiations. Matthew Miller. British parliamentaries visited Tsitsernakaberd Memorial Complex. We and our place names. According to Armenian calendar, the period of pahq begins. Curm Harut Arakelyan. On February 14 in the evening Yerevan time, the 9th session of the third convocation of the National Assembly of Western Armenia was held on the online platform. The session was chaired by the first president of the Republic of Western Armenia and the chairperson of the National Assembly. Members of the government and members of the National Assembly were present too. During the session, the nine committees of the National Assembly of Western Armenia were presented and approved. There were deputies who were self-nominated in the committees. The formation of a new 10th commission was proposed. A number of issues were discussed. The session lasted 2 hours. The publisher of California Courier newspaper Artsakh wrote in his article that there is a debate between those who want to return Artsakh and those who believe that Artsakh is lost forever and should be forgotten. In his article, Sahakyan shared his view on the return of Western Armenia and its overlap with the necessary actions for Artsakh. He noted that during his lectures around the world, he has always told about the genocide committed against Armenian and Western Armenia, and he mentioned that the worst thing will be if Armenian nation forget about Western Armenia. This is the most direct way to lose our Armenian territories forever, he added. Now, in addition to do everything possible, Armenians must pass our demands on Artsakh and Western Armenia to the next generation in order to keep the dream alive. Otherwise, our future generation will know nothing about our historical lands and will have no idea that those territories belong to us. Even if one day the geostrategic situation changes and there will open an opportunity to return our lost lands, our future generations will not show any interest in them, if they will be unaware about that. The Turkish press emphasizes that the San Remo conference mentioned about Armenian issue at the time when the Armenians of the Republic of Yerevan were openly struggling with Azerbaijan for the possession of the disputed territory of Karabakh. The delegates of the allied power state had to demarcate the southern borders of the Armenian state as a logical consequence of the development of the Turkish treaty, Severe Treaty. Bogosnobar Pasha insisted that the city of Erzurum and the vilayet of Erzurum must be attributed to Armenia. Message from the agency TIGR as follows. On April 25 from Constantinople stated that the government of named Ferit Pasha was ready to cede Erzurum to Armenians. We note as follows. Armenian issue is not so much in the demarcation of the Turkish border as it is in the border of Azerbaijan. The main subject of the struggle between Armenia and Azerbaijan over the past years was the mountainous and strategic region of Karabakh, which is a rail corridor for a quick passage from Azerbaijan to Turkey. The Karabakh region attributed to Azerbaijan as a constant threat of Azerbaijan-Turkish alliance, an invention for Armenia. The San Remo conference discussed this issue. At the very moment when the government of Baku is again trying forcibly to occupy Karabakh and Zangezur, the diplomacy in San Remo examines the issue of the borders of Armenia and especially Karabakh. In the coming future, we will be informed about the result of the discussion. The next future will tell us about the decision of the Supreme Assembly. But until then, we must return to our rights protection and establish it using irrefutable historical, ethnic and ethnographic arguments. Karabakh region contains 300,000 Armenian population, but regardless of this consideration, Karabakh is essential for us because of its strategic position, which makes it a natural wall of our motherland. Therefore, we have the right to ask ourselves what solution will be given to this issue that is so important to us. Not only the Armenian people will not agree to transfer Karabakh to Azerbaijan, but also the population of Karabakh itself. During the last 18 months, this population has definitely shown its ambitions and its unchanging desire to annex to Armenia. For the development of Armenia, it is absolutely necessary for it to have natural borders that protect it from any external aggression. From this point of view, the Karabakh issue is even more important. The United States is committed to peace talks between Armenia and Azerbaijan. U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said at the briefing yesterday, stressing that Washington is concerned about reports of clashes between the military of Yerevan and Baku, which resulted in casualties. He mentioned as follows. We express our deepest condolence to the families of the dead and injured. The use of force undermined the negotiations, said Miller, emphasizing that the only way to sustainable peace is to sit at the negotiation table. Any ceasefire violations must be investigated and properly be addressed. As the Secretary of State continuously emphasized, the United States is committed to the Armenian-Azerbaijan peace negotiation, Miller concluded. Starting at 5:30 yesterday, the units of Azerbaijan armed forces opened fire from small arms in the direction of the Armenian position located in Netkinhand sector. The Armenian side reported 4 casualties and 1 wounded. As of 9:30, the fire stopped. A month ago, for the first time after the aggression that took place in Artsakh in September 2023, the U.S. Embassy issued a warning to its employees in the Territorial Republic of Armenia, urging them not to visit a number of regions of Armenia. U.S. Embassy employees and their families are prohibited from any non-essential travel to the following locations, reflecting an easing of restrictions since the last notice was issued. The following: Gegarkunik region, east of Vartenis, Syunik region, east of Goris, Syunik region, south of Kapan, driving through Yerevan village of Artsakh region is allowed. Stopping is not allowed. The British parliamentaries visited the Tsitsernakaberd Memorial Complex, laid flowers near the Eternal Fire. The parliamentary delegation of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland arrived in Armenia, accompanied by Sarkis Khandanyan, chairman of the Standing Committee on Foreign Relations of the National Assembly of Eastern Armenia, member of the Armenian Great Britain Friendship Group, and visited the Tsitsernakaberd Memorial on February 14. We learn about this from the official website of the National Assembly of Eastern Armenia. The guest laid a wreath and bought flowers near the immortal fire that perpetuates the memory of the victims of the genocide against the Armenians, to honor the memory of the Holy Martyrs. The members of the delegation visited the Museum Institute of the Genocide Committed Armenian, got acquainted with the exhibits and documents certifying the genocide. British parliamentaries made a note in the Memorial Book of Guest of Honors. An Armenian person named Gaspar founded a village in Khnusi province of Karini province in Western Armenia, which was also called Gaspar's village after him. Later, the villager was also given the Armenian names Yegert or Yegevrdri. Yeger or Yegevrdri is a willow-like tree whose branches are used to make wraps. Turks added li and lu suffixes to those names and changed the place names to Yegerdli and Yegerdlu. Even the Armenian place names with the personal name Vartan were destroyed by adding the suffix li or lu, indicating a Turkish place, and making them Vartanli or Vartanlu. In Western Armenia, Karini province, Derjan or Mama Khatun province, 20 kilometers south of Mama Khatun city on the left bank of the Euphrates River, adding the Turkish suffix lar to the village name Vankik, Turks changed the place name to Vankiklar. According to Armenian calendar, the period of pahq begins. Curm Harut Arakelyan. Trendes is one of the most beautiful Armenian holidays, he noted. We are already approaching the Armenian Trendes holiday, which will take place as usual according to the Armenian calendar on the day of Haran in the month of Rotik, which is celebrated on February 15 according to Armenian calendar. Trendes is one of the supporting or auxiliary holidays, which symbolizes one of the 4 phenomena of nature, fire. According to the wisdom of our ancestor, with the fire of Trendes, we support the winter and pass into the spring. That is the Armenian New Year, Easter, which is the Arek day of the Arek month, which starts from March 21st. You can read the full article on our website page. This was all for today. Goodbye.